I'll just begin, Administrator Regan, by asking you about the House Majority proposal to freeze funding to FY22 levels, and a consequence is it would translate to EPA state, tribal, and local grant and infrastructure accounts it would cut it by nearly $1 billion, including a $600 million cut on the program that would replace lead pipes and upgrade drinking water systems and support other water infrastructure. It seems like that's at odds with bipartisan support for water infrastructure. And but I wanted to give you an opportunity to clarify what that House proposed level would do.
Well, thank you for the question, and our job is fundamentally about keeping people safe, to safeguard the very things that we all as Americans hold dear, like the assurance that when our children turn on their tap water, the water they drink will be clean, or when they play outside, the air that they breathe will be safe. Undoubtedly, if we were to roll back the budget to 2022 levels, it would force us to make some very difficult decisions in terms of protecting the health and safety of all Americans. It would also cut hundreds of millions of dollars from programs that impact the market. We understand that there are pesticides and herbicides that need to make it to the markets to give all of our farmers the tools that they need to be successful to feed this country. And so there will be significant impacts on the EPA's ability to put significant products on the market, to continue to help this country be competitive from a global economic standpoint, but more importantly, sacrifice potentially the health and safety of some of our fellow citizens.
So if I can simplify just to the lead pipes issue, since that is a condition that affects the developing brains of our babies and our children has been a big concern, would that proposal significantly cut the removal of lead pipes, resulting in more damage to more children?
It absolutely will.
Thank you. In April 21, or April 21st, President Biden signed an executive order for a whole-of-government approach to environmental justice, and you have significant responsibilities under that order. And it directs the agencies to use science and data to make determinations about project permitting. Can you share what the most important tools are that EPA gained in that executive order and how you plan to use them to directly impact environmental justice communities?
Well, thanks to the President's leadership, he made environmental justice a pillar of this administration from day one. And so we moved very quickly, thanks to your partnership and others, to create a new national program. And by what I mean by new is we reorganized with the resources that we had. We put 3 offices together to focus on environmental justice and external civil rights. There are a number of tools in that executive order that have been adopted by the White House that will be used across the federal family so that we can ensure that our regulations match with the direction that the White House and other agencies are pursuing so that we can protect every single person in this country equally under the law. We've made a lot of strides in environmental justice. I'm proud of our environmental justice record. I'm proud of the tools that we have at our disposal. But now we have an entire federal family that's rowing in the same direction to ensure that all people in this country are protected.
And you've proposed a very significant increase in the environmental justice funding. Can you translate just in common language what that will mean for communities that have been burdened by high levels of toxic chemicals?
It'll be tremendous. I believe as a former state regulator that states know their communities quite well, and communities know them even better. And many of the solutions that communities have had for decades on helping to reduce pollution and remove themselves from the front lines need to be matched with funding. With the request that we've asked, it gives us more personnel to be out in the fields, engaging with the communities, looking at those solutions and matching those with the significant grants and resources that the agency can bring to bear. In some cases, because of income and because of race, because of zip code, we are seeing an undue and unfair burden on our constituents, whether it's Lowndes County, Alabama, or whether it's McDowell County, West Virginia. This is an issue that plagues this country, and it is our job to be sure that every single person in this country has access to clean air and clean water.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to see the proposal for the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, or the Green Bank, that EPA is starting to implement as part of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Oregon certainly has ambitious renewable energy goals, and there's an opportunity for that kind of funding. Oregon does not have its own green bank in place, however. Will you commit to making sure that Oregon and other states that don't have their own green banks can still have access to the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And what is your plan for ensuring that funding actually makes it to environmental justice communities?
Well, at EPA, we've built environmental justice into our very DNA. And so, number one, we have some very concrete metrics that are attached to this $27 billion to be sure that disadvantaged communities and those who are disproportionately impacted have access to this capital. We have planned to make 2 to 3 awards under the National Clean Investment Fund, an additional 2 to 7 awards under the Clean Communities Investment Accelerator, which will definitely partner with more grassroots organizations, community development banks, and the like. And then we have about $6 billion to focus on, or $7 billion to focus on a Solar for All competition. And so we're going to build in metrics to be sure that those who need these resources the most have a seat at the table and have an opportunity to invest in this new clean energy economy.
In 25 seconds, do you want to explain the Solar for All?
This is an opportunity to provide up to 60 grants to states, tribal governments, municipalities, and nonprofits to expand specifically the number of low-income and disadvantaged communities that are primed for investments in residential and community-scale solar.
Thank you. Perfect.